Hey everyone, I'm Andrew and welcome back to the channel. There is no doubt that 2020 was an incredibly difficult year for most of us. And 2020 left a lot of economic damage to be assessed. But there's also a lot of lessons we can learn from the trials of 2020. So stay tuned for 10 lessons learned on this edition of Easy Money. It almost feels like a decade of events were stuffed into the year that was 2020. Say what you will about the ups and many downs of 2020, there is still a lot we can learn from it, especially financially. Here are 10 lessons I've learned from 2020. Emergencies happen, and they'll continue to happen. One of the clear lessons that stood out from 2020 is how many people don't have an emergency fund. 69% of Americans have $1,000 or less stashed away for emergencies. Yet the average emergency is $3,500. And when world-altering things happen like the COVID-19 pandemic, that number just goes up. While an emergency fund cannot find you a new job after getting laid off, it can cushion the blow and give you time to find a new job. You should have 3 to 6 months living expenses set aside in a dedicated emergency-only savings account. The pandemic threw everybody out of the proverbial frying pan and into the fire. It was a sink or swim situation that showed us we, as a whole, have what it takes to practice financial discipline. The restrictions on life pleasures like travel, restaurants, and movies, it caused all of us to rethink how we spend on these types of activities, and if some of these are even needed at all. I know that in my household, we found that for us, we don't need to attend the movies. We really enjoy watching movies together at home. We also realized that we could start increasing our cash reserves from this unspent money. Overall, the restriction of these niceties allows us the opportunity to assess our spending habits and adjust our budgets. Whether it's because of sheer boredom or a greater appreciation for life, these life experiences often serve as the catalyst for changing financial habits and mindsets. The crazy that was 2020 was a reminder to us what the foundational reasons are behind our financial life, our why, putting things in perspective and showing us what truly matters to us. Our personal finances, they're just a reflection of what we value. Many people have reconnected personal finances with the things that matter most to them, how we use our time and money to fuel our families and homes, and what our investments support and fund, and how our careers enrich our lives. And personal finance does not exist in a vacuum. It exists in light of what we value most. Last year was a big reminder to most of us to what that is. I've seen this in my own life. I realized that the corporate ladder and tons of money, it's not what I value most. What I value most are people and experiences. This is exactly why I'm moving my family to North Carolina. Lessons learned. Know what you value and let that passion drive your economic engine. It's really hard to see such huge financial swings in the market and find a way to differentiate the economic ramifications versus whatever the media is slinging. It makes it easy for our brains to say, well, this time it's different. Yes, each recession, catastrophic event, or personal emergency, it's different. But the discipline used to weather financial storms, it stays the same. Be sure to have a properly diversified portfolio. Don't keep all your eggs in one basket. It's really easy to panic and sell when emergencies arise, which brings me to lesson number 5. There's a phrase in stock investing that one must have diamond hands. Basically, it means you shouldn't let the volatility of the market, the big ups and downs, sway you from the big picture. And when it comes to investing, time is your biggest asset. So be consistent. Hold on to your investments. In early October of 2008, I remember sitting down with a family friend. He was 10 years from retirement at the time, and he had just lost 70% of his retirement portfolio just a few weeks earlier due to the 2008 market crash. During this time, many people had what we call paper hands. This is when you get scared and you sell your shares. I advised my friend to do the opposite, to have diamond hands. Every major swing in the stock market has always corrected itself. My friend maintained diamond hands, and when he retired in 2018, his portfolio had not only regained all of the losses, but it had continued to increase to 20% more than he had before the crash. It's no different with the crash in March of 2020. The market has since corrected and is hotter than ever. Don't panic sell. Have diamond hands. The next financial lesson just plays off the last. While you maintain diamond hands on your investments, buy when everyone else has paper hands. This is the best time to invest. While others are fearful, you can buy when the market is low, knowing it will correct itself over time. Whether that's within 5 months or 5 years, it will correct itself. While all bear markets are inherently different, the common thread is that they always end. As an investor, you must be willing to lose money every now and then in order to earn the long-term returns that attract most people to the stock market to begin with. With that said, you still need to manage your risks. Unfortunately, when it comes to personal finance, this is the one area of knowledge that's the lowest. Risk is a part of everyday life. How we handle and mitigate that risk, that's what matters. Portfolio diversification is a great way to lower your risk. Another easy way to mitigate risk is through insurance. We should ask ourselves, do I have enough healthcare coverage for my family? Do we have enough in savings to cover the deductibles? Are we covered in case someone becomes disabled? Do we need to change or increase our long or short-term disability coverage? Do we have the right insurance policy? These can be difficult questions to confront, but the pandemic has been a great reminder, and to many, a rude awakening, that it's better to be safe than sorry. Planning is key to surviving any emergency. The pandemic proved once again that each and every one of us need to have a financial plan and strategy that can weather the storms of life. Using a 3-bucket strategy is a wise approach to help you restructure how to invest. The 3 buckets are short-term, intermediate term, and long-term. A short-term bucket should have 1 to 2 years of expenses in short-term instruments such as cash or short-duration bonds. An intermediate term bucket should be for monies not needed for 2 to 5 years, such as your core bond funds. And 3 is your long-term bucket. It should consist of money not needed for at least 5 years and can be invested in equities like stock. 3-bucket investing is a great way for you to prepare for any short-term risks that might arise, without sacrificing the strength of your portfolio. I've always heard it said that millionaires average up to 7 revenue streams. The details of that is best spent in another video, but the volatility of 2020 taught us the importance of having more than one revenue stream. Unfortunately, many people had to learn this lesson the hard way, through the loss of their jobs. Nevertheless, it's a valuable lesson. Don't get all of your income from one source. Everybody needs a side hustle. Many of you reacted to the pandemic as a call to action and used your resources to create new income streams through things like blogging, selling courses, writing ebooks, posting video content, coaching or consulting, setting up an online shop, Uber, Postmates, investing, and so much more. This is the best way to diversify your income and protect yourself against the risk of job loss. As I reflect upon the last year and all the crazy that has taken place, I remember the voice of a good friend who would always tell me, "This too shall pass." Those words hit hard. Whether times are good or times are bad, remember, this too shall pass. Enjoy the moments of good that pass through your life, but don't get carried too far into the clouds because this too shall pass. And as life body slams us and things fall in and feel like they'll never end, remember, this too shall pass. Things will always change. There's no reason to hold on too tight because this too shall pass. We're not out of the woods yet when it comes to COVID, and the world still has a ways to getting back to so-called normal, but it will. What matters is that you take action now. Learn from the lows of life and relish the highs. I really hope there's been nuggets of value here in this edition. If you found something that will help you, please comment below and share this video with your friends and family. And if you found this enjoyable at all, please be sure to tap that like button and subscribe so you're always ready for more of that easy money. I'm Andrew, this is Easy Money, and now it's time to invest in yourself.